Yo, what up, y'all? Mr. Still, your boy coming at you. Let's jump into it. Today, I want to talk about some crypto. I am not like Mr. Crypto's guru, but today this is going to be just for the regular person who like literally doesn't understand crypto at all and just needs like a baseline explanation and maybe a couple recommendations. Again, not financial advice or legal advice. This is like my personal opinion. Do not take my advice, right? I'm a degenerate just like you are, but I'm going to make, I'm going to kind of go over like a quick explanation of some of these crypto coins and what they are for the person who just has no idea what any of this is, and then go over a couple coins that are of interest to me and why I think they're interesting. Some relatively more safe ones in my opinion, all the way to like maybe like the degenerative gambler that I know some of you are, and it's like I just want to throw money at a wall and see if it sticks, right? Like I'm trying to get a 100x or whatever, which I don't even think I have a coin like that right now. I'm not that guy, but I've got a few that I'm gonna go over. So as always, not legal advice or financial advice. Also, I did a change to the channel. We are now Modern Intel by Mr. Steele. I wanted to kind of brand myself a little bit better. I've had like 20 people in the last 2 weeks like, oh man, what's your channel name? And they look up my channel on YouTube and they can't find me. They literally hand me their phone and I can't find myself on their phone. And I'm like, all right, we got to fix this. Plus, I want to start covering things a little more broader. I'm interested in like current events, politics, news, a little bit more entertainment, crack some jokes, shit like that. So I wanted to kind of rebrand. So we've rebranded. I don't know if this is the way I want to stick with it or not, but we're going to try it. I do like the sound and of the name Modern Intel by Colin Steele. And so, or Modern Intel by Mr. Steele. And so, yeah, we'll see how that sticks, how that works, if people can find me a little bit better. And if that's fitted to the way I'm going to be going in the content I'm going to be creating. So let's jump into this and let's go. So obviously, let's just talk about Bitcoin, a real quick for people who do not know what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is like the cryptocurrency that started it all. Everyone should have some idea of what Bitcoin is, right? And you've probably heard of it, but you're like, what the hell is Bitcoin? And so we're going to jump into that today and talk about it. So let me share my screen and just like jump in. So obviously here's a bunch of like cute little pictures of Bitcoin, right? So Bitcoin was created by Satoshi Nakamoto, and the fractional portions of it are called Satoshis. A whole Bitcoin is obviously a Bitcoin. I think right now we're sitting at like almost 108,000. We hit an all-time high recently. And they're having the Bitcoin conference right now as we speak, which I have pulled up. And I'm going to go over that with you in a second, a coin I'm going to recommend. But I wanted to talk about Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin has turned into this. It was very like, it started off as like this decentralized, it was going to replace money. It's to, a lot of these Bitcoin maxis were starting off as like, to keep the government out of your business, to be able to, buy and sell and trade and not have all of these institutions in your business. And so since then it has evolved and changed. Some of the Bitcoin maxis do not like where it's gone. Some people do like it. And it's becoming more of almost a store of value, a decorrelated asset from like the stock market and a hedge against the dollar. It's definitely, the US government has gotten into it at this point. They're going to be holding all of the Bitcoin they've already owned through confiscations and whatnot. And then obviously they have been through that bill or whatever that the current administration did, they've been tasked with acquiring more Bitcoin. Okay, so that's really good for Bitcoin. The US government's even gotten into it. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. As far as crypto goes, and probably a decent place to put your money, again, not financial advice or legal advice. I'm a degenerate. Don't listen to me. My thoughts are Bitcoin's a very good place to put your money, to hedge against the dollar, to hedge against inflation. I think last year, let's see what Bitcoin performed percentage-wise last year. What percent did Bitcoin perform last year? So 59% is what I'm getting from this website. 77, I've heard that too as well. But yeah, okay, so from 2023, it looks like, or 2024, sorry, it's gone up 59%. right? And it's obviously it's moving just like everything else, but like that's a pretty good return on your money, right? That's safe. That's going to hedge you from the 2 point whatever percent of inflation all the way up to like, the 14, 15% that again, inflation can vary, and the way that the feds and all these other places measure their inflation is not always, it's not always correlative and correct for like the regular person. Like, if you're not an asset holder and you're just buying groceries, it's like the inflation went up way more, right? Like milk went from like $4 to like $7 or $8 a gallon. It's like, yeah, that's way more than 7%, like the estimated inflations, right? So depending on what you're buying, goods and services wise, inflation was much higher, right? So it's like you need a safer place to put your money to hedge it, right? Savers are losers. That's Robert Kiyosaki. That's all of these financial people, right? Like they're printing money, they're devaluing money, and they're causing inflation, and that's not going to go away. It doesn't matter this administration, the next administration, the one after that. They're going to keep printing money, and the overall temperature check of the new style is going to be like, hey, let's grow our way out of this, which is probably going to create a little more inflation, right? Which is going to be good if you're holding assets, which Bitcoin is one. And it seems to perform very well. It seems to be a pretty safe bet. It's a lot better place to put your money typically than like a savings account, where it's like they print more money every single year, every single administration, and the value of your money is going down, and the amount of crap you can buy, goods and services with that money, is also going down. It's like those things are costing more while the value of your money is going down. Like the gap is getting bigger and bigger. You're not going to save your way out of this for the most part, right? Especially if you're like me. Like I don't have millions, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I need to find a place to put my money that's going to like really perform well. And then, it's like I want really good performance, and then I want like decent performance in some safe places. Bitcoin's definitely one of those places. If you do not own Bitcoin, you're probably going to miss the boat. It's never too late, in my opinion, just like with real estate. But, I would do it now before later, right? It seems like we're very much potentially in a potential bull run. They got the crypto or the Bitcoin conference going on right now. So that's what Bitcoin is. Again, it seems like it's just a pretty good safe haven to put your money. And who knows where it's going to evolve to or what it could potentially be used for in the future. Could it turn into more of like a world currency or just a global store of value, a way to hedge against your, inflation or government printing of money, stuff like that? It's digital gold, okay? It's become digital gold, roughly. All right. So now that we've kind of got into like the base, the first crypto, right? Bitcoin. Let's jump into a next relatively safe but high with some pretty good potential crypto that has kind of fallen onto my radar, and that's going to be HBAR. Okay, now HBAR is built on a completely different, it's not built on the blockchain. It has its own type of system that it's built on, and it's considered a utility coin. And so, let me see here. I thought I had a, yeah, so this is the Hedera Council. And as you're going to see, like one of the big things about Hedera is the backing that it has. There are a lot of big businesses and companies that are a part of Hedera on their council. So it's got a lot of brand names backing it that are participating in one way or another. So that's really good. That adds a lot of value and potential for it. I mean, these are companies we've heard of, regular people: LG, Google, Dell, IBM, Boeing. There are a lot of reputable companies that are sitting on the council that are participating in the growth and direction of where Hedera is going. And this company, this crypto could have a lot of decent potential while still being like a relatively safe bet to sink some money into. And I think right now, price wise, we're sitting at 18 cents. Yep. I think I actually bought in around 11 or 12 cents. And, I think the current estimation, if we enter a altcoin bull run, is probably going to be between 20 and 40 cents, which we were literally 20 just not long ago. So, this thing could go up. We've been trending down consistently. Today it looks like. So yeah, it might be something to keep an eye on, watch, maybe buy in at. And it's got a lot of, the thing is this has got a lot of use case potential for the coin, making it have a lot of potential upside as everything evolves, AI, the markets, technology, right? Some of these crypto coins are going to end up be utilizing for things, right? tokenization, for example, which I went over in another video, right? And the trick is it's like, which coin? Are they going to make a whole new one for that if they decide to go that route? Are they going to utilize a coin that already exists that has all of the right metrics and features and specs, was created in a way to be advantageous for that system? And so Hedera is absolutely one of the coins. It's carbon efficient, carbon green. It has very fast transactions with low cost. There's a lot of things about how this coin was designed to potentially be really good in the utility space to be able to use for things like tokenization in the future. So again, who knows? You're kind of like betting on horses, right? And you're just trying to look at the horses and it's like, well, that horse seems to be very, very healthy, seems to be very strong, seems to be very fast. Like might be a good horse, right? Who knows if someone's going to go with this horse? No one knows. No one knows which horse is going to win the race. Like that's, again, like crypto, gambling, all of that. It's all the same stuff. Stock market, it's all gambling. It's all gambling, y'all. The stock market is gambling, crypto's gambling. It's all gambling, right? Like starting a business is a gamble. Starting a restaurant is a gamble. It's all, you're betting, right? That's what you're doing. Okay. But I do think as we modernize, you're going to look back 5, 10, 20, 30 years from now, and you're going to go, man, I should have bought some crypto, like for sure. So I'm just trying to, do some digging because I know you're all busy and you don't have all the same time that I have. Let's watch like a minute of this real quick. This is important. This is the Crypto Czar. This is David Sachs at the Bitcoin conference talking about Hedera.
This is the financial system of the future. And we want this innovation happening in the United States. We don't want it driven offshore. That's basically what was happening before, is because under the Biden administration, and as we all know, Elizabeth Warren had the auto pen, all this innovation was being driven offshore. It was being driven to other countries. And that's not the American way. I mean, the American way is always to be the innovator, the leader in technology, and we want this financial revolution happening in the United States. We want to be leading in this. We don't want to be driving it offshore. It's crazy.
We know that the future of finance is on chain. Money itself is evolving and it will run on a public distributed ledger, not a private one, although you will have some private DLTs to do specific tasks. The world that we are moving towards is one in which public ledgers play a key role, a central role in virtually everything. Certainly finance, like I say, money is going to be evolved and brought on chain, and actually more.
Oh, in full disclosure, this is all in crypto. I think he does a really good job. He is a big HBAR holder, full disclosure, and bull. So he is very pro HBAR, but I think he drops really good knowledge on this, and I wanted to kind of just share this real quick.
More broadly than that, value of all kinds. And actually, I just filmed an interview with Quantas, which is a company that leverage public distributed ledgers. They work with or have relations with the Dutch central bank. They're essentially enabling money, and they're solving issues with a DLT that the current monetary system has. I mean, the money system is a mess in terms of how it's all facilitated and enabled. And with a DLT, you can kind of unify this and simplify things. So we know that the future is on chain. However, there's an issue. So there's already an issue with how value moves, but there's an issue that is around the corner, and that is quantum computing. Now, I say around the corner, that's a relative term. Could be 3 years out, could be 5 years out, could be 10 years out.
Or we could never get quantum computing. I mean, who knows? Probably will, but yeah.
But quantum computing is advancing, and we saw that with Willow from Google. And with the rise of quantum computing, the systems that we have today are simply not safe. Okay, they can be hacked. Bitcoin itself, and this is where we're going to relate this to the cryptocurrency space, would also fall victim to a quantum computer of a certain power. And this is why BlackRock recently updated their IBIT filing to include...
So obviously that's very like maybe, right? It's like maybe we'll get quantum computing. Maybe we'll get it in 3 years. Maybe we'll get it in 6. Maybe we'll get it in 20. And maybe it will be powerful enough to crack Bitcoin. Maybe it won't, right? This is a very debated topic. You know, Bitcoin maxis thinks Bitcoin is very safe. They don't think the processing power is going to be there to crack it, to make it unsafe. And Bitcoin is already much safer than most TradFi systems already, right? So I also would make the point that if Bitcoin is susceptible to quantum computing, and they have to re-engineer they're going to have to re-engineer the entire industry. Your bank account, your mobile app, whatever bank, those TradFi systems are not as secure as Bitcoin by any means. Those encryptions are far less secure. So if Bitcoin is at threat, that means the entire traditional financial system and industry is at threat. So that's something to keep in mind when you're considering all of these things.
Essentially a waiver or a disclaimer about quantum computing. Now, the future of finance is on chain. How can that happen if a technology like quantum computing may essentially render useless these? And what I want to do in this video is relate this to Hedera's extremely well-positioned nature. Not only do we know that the future of finance is on chain, and Hedera's positioned to enable some of that, not all of it, there's going to be multiple players, it's also potentially going to play a key role, like it already is doing with NASDAQ-listed companies, I'm going to be showing you that, in the fight against quantum computing.
Okay, I'm very curious.
And this is another
How is it going to be less susceptible to quantum computing?
Thing, I guess, in Hedera's favor, as if there aren't already many. And when you look at Hedera as an overall package, it really does stand out. So, let's get into it. BlackRock issues a rare warning. Is Bitcoin's future at risk from quantum tech? Now, this was an article, a really good article actually published by Cointelegraph. It says, in a rare move, BlackRock has quietly added a new line in its iShares Bitcoin Trust, IBIT filing, and it is turning heads. The update submitted in early May 2025 flags quantum.
Okay, we know all this. Quantum's a risk for Bitcoin. We get it.
Risk to bitters. It could potentially undermine the viability.
What I want to know is how is Hedera better or safer?
Could compromise the security of the Bitcoin to shareholders. Bitcoin's encryption 20x easier than thought. This is from Google. Needed under 1 million qubits instead of 20 million. Just go and check out the moves that quantum computing stocks have had recently. Type in top 10. Let's tackle the fact that Hedera is quantum secure. And let's get this from Lehman Baird himself.
How is Hedera
comes in? First of all, let's just tackle the fact that Hedera is quantum secure.
That's what I'm really curious about.
And let's get this from Lehman Baird himself. He was asked the question by Mance. This all came about.
If it is quantum secure, that's a really big deal. That's highly valuable, and why Hedera could potentially be really good. I mean, full disclosure, I have some Hedera. I'm not alive, but I have some.
So the future is on chain. Hedera can do that. It's also secure enough to do that.
Okay.
It doesn't have that quantum computing risk.
How is it
But
secure?
Today, it's already been used to help the broader world protect against quantum threats. And we'll look into that. But let's play this clip of what Lehman has to say in regards to Hedera being quantum secure.
Is Hedera secure against quantum computers? All right, so we're in really good shape. So here's where we are in Hedera.
Okay.
We use 4 cryptographic primitives. We use hashes in the hash map. Okay, so we have the hash graph that has hashes in it, and we have the history of everything that's ever happened that's tied together with hashes, sort of like a blockchain. So we have hashes all through the system. And we use SHA-384, not 256. Why do we use the extra bits? It's so that we're CNSA compliant, which is, the government requires that for top secret information. And why does it require it? Because it is, we believe, secure against giant quantum computers.
Okay, so we believe, so there's the potential that Hedera, based on its design, could potentially be more secure against quantum computers. And I don't think any of us are going to understand any more of this than that. It's just the potential of being safer and more secure, which I think is important. I think that's valuable. It also seems like a maybe, though.
So the belief is, even if you took, all the atoms on Earth and turned them into giant quantum computers, you would not be able to break SHA-384. SHA-384 is thought to be secure against quantum computers forever. That's pretty good news.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and move on, but there you have it. So that's why, obviously, some smart guy who understands all this crypto stuff is saying the SHA-34, or whatever he said, it's some kind of design feature that is thought to be unbreakable by quantum computing. So that's a really good thing. I mean, a lot of these cryptos are probably going to be, and just in general, right? Like, this is not just crypto. This is your bank. This is your phone. This is your data. This is your social media account. Like, quantum computer will break a lot of this stuff depending on how powerful it gets. So that's why H bar is a very powerful and potentially very good investment for you. Obviously, not financial advice or legal advice or investment advice, but yeah, that's my 2 cents. I'm not even gonna listen to this guy. I had this guy pulled up for some more H bar, but I want to just kind of like move forward. So I'm not even gonna. I think this video is gone. So obviously, I've done Bitcoin. I've done Hedera. Let's do okay, so I watched this whole video, okay? And I think this guy's late to the game, but if you degens want like some gambling meme coin, this is one of the meme coins I came across in my research. It is this guy recommends, and I'm not going to go through the whole video, but this is like a super hyper liquid whale who is just some regular British guy, somewhere in England or Europe who made like a lot of money, millions of dollars on crypto. And it seems like he's a young guy. And so I listened to here. I'll let you listen to just a few minutes of it, or like a couple seconds, and then I'll tell you what I think.
And then he made his money. He made a couple of $1 million, like $80 million or $90 million. And then he swung short. Now, some people say, okay, well, hold on. Okay, hold on. We're going to try and find it for you. Okay, Josh is going to try and find it first. In the
Oh! And I've been, as a teenager, lived on 4chan. I knew Pepe was going to be a coin at some point or another. And I thought Pepe would come in last cycle, like, because
So this is, I guess, his alias. Again, this guy started off young. I mean, I don't know if he's like around my age, but he got in and made a lot of money on like different coins, meme coins and whatever. And I watched this whole 40-minute video for y'all, so you don't have to. The only coin he recommended was Moonpig, which I did some research. I'm going to be real. I feel like Moonpig already pumped. I did buy a little bit just because it's like, hey, why not? With only a little bit of money that I'm willing to lose on the whole, like, again, meme coins are just a straight gamble. But like, I mean, there were allegedly people who turned like hundreds of dollars into literally thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars with this coin. So, I mean, it pumped a lot. It does seem like it's still one of the more favored meme coins out there. Meme coins are very hard. The trick is finding these coins before everywhere else, being on a platform where you can actually buy them. Meme coins available on the Coinbase wallet, not their normal Coinbase, but on Coinbase wallet. So might already be too late in full disclosure, but that's the coin he did recommend. Let me see if I can.
My experience of how market makers work.
yeah. I know.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is.
My Moonpig prediction. So, this isn't financial advice.
This was 2 days ago.
Like, nobody hold me to this, but it is the cleanest runner in Solana right now. And I know a lot. I've been around the block, and I know a lot about a lot of big coins on the market right now in Solana, and they're not quite as clean.
He's
as
shilling his own
everybody
bag.
thinks.
That's it.
But people say
Yeah. So
they
again, this could be totally risky. He might just be shilling, trying to do a pump and dump. I don't know, man. So, but that's all meme coins, right? All meme coins. I mean, you got to go onto Reddit or 4chan or wherever, right, to try to find these meme coins and look at people talking about it and figure out where the FOMO is going to end up on what meme coin. So, yeah, I don't think I'd recommend Moonpig. Just for ha-has, I bought a little bit just to see. I think I'm super late to the game. But this is the kind of stuff you should be thinking about if you're trying to get that like 100x. Like, this would have given you that if you'd gotten in early enough, right? It's probably too late. Another really interesting coin, and I'm not going to play much of this guy.
Let's talk about WorldCoin. Its
WorldCoin.
short form is WLD, and it's
So I'm not even going to play this guy. I'm going to wrap this video. But WorldCoin is really interesting. It was made with the intent of potentially being kind of like a UBI type crypto coin in the event that, like, with AI displacing so many jobs, we might have to have universal basic income, and WorldCoin potentially could function as something of that, right? Could act as like a as like a universal basic income type of mechanism. And, maybe you get paid in WorldCoin or something. I don't know, right? Again, I have like just the minimalist understanding of all of this kind of stuff. But again, after doing a lot of research, I kind of landed on Bitcoin, Hedera, and WorldCoin could potentially have some potential. It's actually worth already a lot. It might have already pumped. But yeah, could potentially be Let's Google it real quick, and then I'll wrap this video up. WorldCoin. Let's just see what happens out. WorldCoin project. Let's do, could WorldCoin be used for UBI? Yes, WorldCoin could be used for UBI. The project's core idea is to distribute a digital currency, WLD, to verified individuals with the potential for this to serve as a form of universal basic income. Yeah. Unique verification, digital currency. So it was designed around this idea, right? Which I think is potential. Again, what you're looking for is you're looking for horses to bet on, right? So when we're talking about crypto and all of the potential, I did a really fascinating video on the tokenization of assets, like real estate assets, right? Like this is the potential for to be utilized for UBI, right? Which is potentially around the corner, right? And there's like I was listening to Simon Sinek, who was talking on the CEO, the Diary of a CEO, who, again, I think he did a great explanation. He doesn't really have a dog in the fight. And like myself, I don't know enough about UBI to be against it. I understand there's a conservative argument for like it's going to create a bunch of lazy people. And then I think there's a really good argument, which is like, hey, we're not giving people wealth. We're just giving them just enough to survive. So, if you're the type of person who gets just enough and stops short, you're probably doing that already anyway. And so UBI we don't know exactly how this is going to play out, but there is this, and I think it's so funny. Simon made a really great point, which is like when blue collar workers and factory workers and industrial workers back in the industrial revolution were losing their jobs, right? All of the tech and knowledge workers and white collar workers were like, no, they were super against UBI. They're like, no, blah, 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 blah. And now those same people with AI around the corner and AI potentially, right, displacing a lot of people. And it's not the people like plumbers. Simon made a really great point. Plumbers are not worried about AI, right? Like they're not, right? Electricians, like a home builder, like a roofer, these things are not getting replaced anytime soon. Chances are like these are like trade school jobs are far less at risk, but like coders, developers, if you're sitting at a desk, you should be sweating. I mean, everything from attorneys to CPAs to, obviously all of the like customer service, IT related, computer science, all of these things are super high at risk as AI evolves and grows and becomes better. Plumbers aren't worried about AI. They're just not. And so now that the table has turned on a lot of these knowledge workers, white collar workers, tech workers, they're openly having the conversation about UBI. Like, we might need UBI, we're going to displace, right? Like, and it's funny. He made a funny point that it's like, like what a hypocrite. Now that the shoe's on the other foot, now you're interested in UBI and all of that. So who knows if we will or will not go the route of UBI, but if we do, this coin could potentially become very valuable and might potentially be something worth grabbing some of. So yeah, there's my thoughts. There's just a couple crypto coins that I've been doing some research, so you don't have to. Sorry the video went so long. I got to get better at these and wrapping them up. I do the research, but I get to talking and stuff and get interested. But there you have it. There are some, that's kind of like the gist, the base level of crypto. If you're just a regular person and you just have no clue about crypto at all, now you have a little bit of an understanding. And again, as the world grows and evolves, technology, AI, this is something like you should probably have a little bit of, right? Like even now, traditional finance people like that guy I talked to who did the Bloomberg interview, he's probably recommending, I mean, he disclosed to me he's recommending at least 5% of their bag to be in Bitcoin. So it's like, and who knows if it's not more than that, but like, yeah, probably as the regular person, if you don't want to get left behind, the name of the game is grab some assets. Now the U.S. government is considering Bitcoin an asset. I think at this point it's super safe to buy, and who knows where this coin could end up in 5 to 10 years. I mean, you could be sitting at like $500,000, $1 million per coin. So obviously, yeah, it would have been nice to buy this when it was like fractions of a penny, but still, the way the modern economy and market is going, it's probably going to be in your interest to own some Bitcoin in the future. So start now. And there you have it. Obviously, again, not financial advice or financial advice. The moon pig is like only for the degens and probably missed the boat. If you have any like meme coins that you think are going to be like that are not as aware of and like that I haven't heard of yet, drop a comment, man. I'm super interested in like the meme because that's obviously like the real gambling where you can actually make a lot of money. You can turn like a few $100s into potentially thousands, if not more than that. And those are hard to find, right? Like those are, you got to be like on the chat channels and stuff to try to find that crap. You're probably not going to find that on like a YouTube video that some nobody made. Maybe, but yeah, like just for fun, I wanted to cover the moon pig thing because I thought it was fun and to be able to explain kind of like these meme coins. So we covered Bitcoin, which is the primary. We covered a utility coin and altcoin, which was Hedera. And then we covered a meme coin, which was Moonpig, for an example. Obviously, that one's definitely at the bottom. And then we covered the World coin, which is another potential utility coin. So there's some examples of coins. Now you have a better idea what some of these things are, could be useful, why they might be valuable. And there you have it. All right. So there's the video for the day. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm seriously trying to grow this channel. So please like and subscribe, comment below. Especially if you have any recommendations or thoughts on crypto, like give me your feedback. Tell me what you disagree with. Tell me what you do agree with. Make me some recommendations in the comments on some meme coins or utility coins. And yeah, I hope to hear from you. I hope you have a good one. Have a good rest of your week and peace.